There are some people who, there's what they call trophy wife.
Yeah.
They want to marry the best looking lady so that it can be a bragging right for them. See my wife, una own rich. So that is the reason why they marry that particular kind of person. For some persons like me, we love intelligent, very intelligent people, and for some, they really do not care. In fact, talking about these engagements, sometimes I get surprised when I see these public engagements, and sorry, ladies, I'm sorry. And the lady is surprised. My mind, I'm like, wait, oh, you were playing since. You did not know. It does never cross your mind that this person want to do life with you. I get surprised.
So what were they doing?
So when you were dating, is it just buying shawarma and doing this thing we're doing? Was there no plan in terms of?
Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another interesting time on VitalSpace Podcast. On today's episode, I have a friend, I have a brother, and before we started, we were having an interesting conversation behind the camera, and it's been beautiful. And I think it's that will just flow into it. So I have Mr. Aserio Dusi here. He's a lot of things in many ways. For most of persons, that he plays in the tech space, but today we are dragging him out of that space. So you're welcome.
Thank
you're
you
welcome.
for having me.
You're welcome. We see the work you do, and we are proud. We are grateful, and and that's why we are here, because we know now with the work you do and how you have become very eligible. So maybe some persons will not be shooting shots, but you've become very, very eligible. But we want to talk about something. Today I want to just poke your mind and draw you on something that been on my mind for some time. The thing about how over time, so you see a guy, he's all fine and good, he has everything working for him, and the thing around him is, why is he not married, or when will you get married, and why are you, and all of those fun things we do. I think that the expectations or the dynamics in relationships are from older generation, our parents, and right now with the ages and all of them probably would have changed. So the dynamics have changed also, and gone are the day of you go into school, you do all of your schooling thing, graduate, come out, get to work, and the next thing is marriage. A lot of things would have changed in today's world. I'll start with what are young men looking for before I'll go to what should.
Okay.
Because most times what we look for may not be what we should be looking for. So there's that disconnect, because people could be looking for something that's not wholesome, when in reality they should be looking for something wholesome. For when it comes to societal norms around marriages between the ages as it used to be before and now, is there any difference in your opinion?
Oh, yeah, of course. Once again, thank you for having me. There's a lot of difference as we see today. The dynamics has indeed changed. I mean, in time past, in days of our fathers and our grandfathers, there was a definition for marriage. There was this purpose why they were getting married. There was a reason why they needed to increase, their numbers in terms of the size of their family. You see that dynamics is almost not existent in our today's society. You ask the average guy or the average woman, why exactly do you want to get married? It will be shocking that a lot of persons won't be able to answer. They say, it is the normal way now. We should be normal way. Because one of the things that I feel or I think is that there are different institutions that we need to imbibe as part of our existence as humans. In finance, in marriage is an institution on its own. And all of these things require some level of education before one can take a definitive action towards pursuing that. And then from the previous generation up to this time, I think there've not been any deliberate knowledge transfer onto why should you get married? What is the purpose of marriage? What are those things that you are going to experience within the confines of marriage as an institution? And all of those things are some of the things that have been lost to westernization. Today we have social media, and there are plenty of stories that people begin to see that influences their choice towards the subject of marriage. And so again, in that time we did not have social media. People did not get to read about very terrible experiences between married couples. Today we have social media where one person can be in his house and he reads 20 terrible stories about marriage and says, oh, because of that I'm not getting married. So, and there are also a lot of in our society today, there's more focus on wealth, acquisition of wealth. So if you don't have money, hide your face. So a young man might be his own focus or his own ideation or his own pursuit in life is he just wants to make money. Every other thing is secondary. So if you ask that person about the subject of marriage, you are distorting his own plans. His plan is to make money. If I make money, you usually hear this thing. If I make money, the woman will come. So it is not if I make money, marriage will come. It is the woman. That is the if as long as I have money, any other thing can come. So they even believe that if it's marriage, I'll pay my way in through the marriage. That is if it's even a
It's
necessity
even
for
a
them.
necessity for
So
them.
we've seen that change, that transition between what used to be some sort of standard in terms of marriage and what we have today.
Okay, and I know that if we talk about the education, I know that there have been a lot of marriage seminars,
Mm.
there are a lot of marriage conferences on relationships, there are a lot of are these things not I've never not been able to prepare people in this way because it's in these times that
Mm.
we seem to have more
Mm.
of these conferences, more of these seminars and workshops and all the are they not enough in bridging that gap in the terms of knowledge and preparation for
Yes. So if you actually really pay attention to most of these marriage conferences, marriage seminars, they are usually around the confines of churches. So we see that the church has played a huge role in terms of contributing towards the subject of marriage, and you have that happening. But let's be truthful: not every person that is even a Christian attends those marriage conferences. Again, it still boils down to priority for some individuals as they approach a certain age in their life. It's either there's now pressure from family to say, when are you getting married? And for some of them, it now preempts them to want to expose themselves to those environments that talks about the subject of marriage. So for some of them, they want to, okay, this thing they are saying I should get into, let me even go and learn about it. For some, they might even be going to those places so they can find, you know. So there are different motives towards it, and I would say the church or
the
all of this, the
the
Christian fold
faith,
has
yeah.
been playing a huge role in terms of contributing to that education in marriage. And of course, we will say it's never enough. But one of the things that I would say is outside the confines of the church, how are people brought into that institution of marriage? Should it be something that should be taught from a young age? So we have our school, regular school as an institution. Is this something that can be incorporated into this? I know we used to have social studies, and in social studies we used to talk about family and all the rest. I think it's something that should be done if we want to deliberately teach the subject of marriage, or we want to improve the quality of marriage in this 21st century. I think there have to be more deliberate effort towards providing education, so it's not limited to just the church. It's not the church that is responsible for it, because the church is not the entire society. We are a lot of people with different backgrounds, different cultural beliefs. So it should be something that can be incorporated so people can have a clear understanding about the institution of marriage before they get to that period when they are now pressured to take anything that comes to them.
Okay, so before we go to pressure, which I think that before we get to the pressure part, um, from what you said, something quickly, is marriage a thing? Is that because when we say is marriage a thing that we should really bother ourselves
Okay.
to want to now? Is it a thing that is it worth it? Is it something that we should be bothering ourselves to even be to talk less of now going to want to now create
Okay.
education? Is it
Is it sin? So we see the truth of the matter is the continuity of humanity is um, is highly dependent on the ability for people to procreate, and procreation does not happen in space. It happens when two people come together and then they have sexual intercourse and then they birth a life. But if we even look at it within the society across every every, in fact globally, you see that there are defined institutions for marriage. So, for instance, you are traveling out, they ask, are you traveling out with your spouse? Because the society understands that there's an institution called marriage that is important in, nation development. So it is something that attention should be paid into. The same way we pay attention to finance, we also should pay attention to marriage. It should not be something that is left to anyhow it is. If it's anyhow, then there's no need for us to have a choice to say, are you single or married? Leave it like that. Let all of us be humans on our own. So it's something that attention should be paid towards.
no, why I said that because before we devote time, resources, and all of those energy, it should be something that we have agreed is something worthwhile. And I like the fact that you said that globally it's recognized that that institution is necessary for the building, for nation building. It's so because because what I've said, there are a lot of persons who do, like you said, doing anyhow, just live life anyhow, it's my life, just that produces anyhowness in society. That produces, so you talk of procreation, it's just a sleep, but the thing, we see the resultant effects of just staying out of accountability. So marriage and that institution of marriage is important for nation building. For me, that's one key thing I've just taken so far, and I know that there is many more. So, getting now to the point of our gist, where we say what's today's young men are looking at before we should be looking at. Now, you talked about being pressured. Are today's young men pressured into their marriage? You think there's pressure?
Well, I will say in our today's society, it's not even marriage that is a thing of pressure for the men. It's a thing of pressure for the women.
Okay.
For men, in our today's society, the pressure is make money. So you see, like I made mention in our when we started this conversation, you see that men prioritize acquiring wealth over any other thing. So yes, at a particular stage in a man's life, probably when he's now getting to his maybe in his late 30s, approaching his 40s, there might be those questions to say,
Alpha,
are you not? But I don't think it is as heavy as it is on the other gender.
Okay, so when the guy gets to that point where he cannot hold 2-3 conversations with his friends, without them telling him, go and marry, without them telling him, keep quiet, see you. Like one of our guys will say, see you single to stupor. So before he gets to that point where is there, yes, he's chasing money, he's trying to build wealth, he's trying to do that. When he gets to that point where he now feels that, is there not a gap if he has not paid attention in building himself? Is that now the right time to now start building? Is that this building himself for marriage alongside building wealth or acquiring wealth, should that not be a part of his building?
Yes, yes. So yes, a very, very important question. And I think that the overall development of any man should not be confined to a particular area of his life. So as a man, you need to be able to build yourself in terms of your finance. You need to build your spirituality. You need to build yourself mentally. For those who want to pursue, the academic parts, you need to build yourself academically. And of course, in building something out of yourself, you want to raise a family, it is important that you also devote time into learning that institution, because the marriage in itself is just a component in that institution.
Yeah.
Usually they say it starts with dating. So you are dating or you are building a relationship with somebody before it gets to the point when you are doing a wedding ceremony.
Yeah.
And then the wedding ceremony is what opens the door to marriage as a whole. Then outside marriage, there's now the part of childbearing, raising children. So it's a full lifetime journey that you should not wait till you get to a particular stage of your life before you want to start learning about it. So that's why I made mention that it's something that people should start learning from younger age, start learning. And as they're learning, which there's going to be a controversy in this I'm saying now. as you learn,
Yeah.
you're equipped with that knowledge, so that at the point in your life when you are now ready to become more responsible in this particular aspect of your life, it's not at that point you want to start learning.
Okay. So now in that learning thing, now we've talked about the role of the church. Is there any role where maybe older, more experienced men, is there a role they play? Is there a role they can play, or a role they play or should play in that?
So before we started this conversation on camera, off camera, we're having a conversation, and I asked, have you ever seen a family or somebody who told you that his father or his mother sat him down and explained or shared the experience in marriage? What are the ups and downs? You see, I don't know, for some weird reason, this subject about relationship, about marriage, you barely see people talk about it. There's no intentionality in passing on knowledge. And you begin to see that people will prefer to go and learn on social media, which is an issue, because you see that people begin to model the kind of relationship or marriage they want to have or do not want to have based on the lifestyles of celebrities. Meanwhile, they still have parents that are not a model for them. They are looking after a celebrity or one person's failed marriage and say, oh, if this is how marriage is, I don't want to be a part.
Why their parents have stayed in the relationship for a marriage for the last 30 something years,
exactly,
and they are still together.
Exactly. So I think that more of the older generation should deliberately start to pass on that knowledge. And I mean, they said family is like the mitochondria of the society. Basically, everything starts from the family. If you don't learn inside the house, who are you leaving it to? So there have to be like that same fundamental knowledge that you get from your immediate family. For those who don't have, I mean, there are always people that you can call
So yeah,
mentors that can be around you. They don't necessarily have to be your biological parents, but then you are learning, and then you now begin to acquire, from other people's experiences. But then there's something that you are building on, and then it's also great that you know even in the institution of marriage, there are a lot of dynamics that plays out, because there's also the cultural component, there's
yeah.
the religious component. All of these things has their differences. So one needs to be able to see something that he can model after and then build on it to make it better. So I believe that our older generation should deliberately start to communicate more to their children. Don't get to the point where so usually there's this thing that we say or people say that a young girl will be in the house, the parents will say, I don't want to see you with a boy, all through what's it called, a teenage,
Age.
some part of her adulthood,
Uh,
they don't want to see her with a
yeah,
boy.
boy.
Then all of a sudden she hits 25 or 26, they say, when is the
Is it
man
man
coming?
coming?
So even you as the lady, you will be surprised, because it is you that is saying I should not bring any person. And there's something that I learned, and I don't know if it's not a recommendation, please. Also, I'm not quoted anywhere. There's something that I had seen. Some families encourage their children to bring in somebody they have a love interest. Let me see the person. Let me interact with the person. So that way, there's that level of trust or openness the child want to have. Oh, this kind of person that I'm looking at for. And you can even, the parents can even help to guide.
Okay, so that provides opportunity for conversation. That provide teachable moments.
Exactly. So that you are not leaving the child to grow up and figure it
And
out
go
things
and
by himself, an
experiment.
experiment. You bring the person in. Oh, this is it. This is this. Okay, you can give advice. I feel this person is this, and of course, with that kind of foundation, even the man or the woman growing up will be seeing the red flags ahead of time,
Yeah.
because there's a foundation and that level of openness he or she has had with the
Okay.
parents.
We cannot overemphasize that role and that is key. So older ones, more experienced persons, you don't need to be celebrity
Mm.
to pass across knowledge. The number of failed people in quotes that are celebrities are not the examples you should be for your children. But the thing is, if you don't step up as a parent, you leave the room for any other person to step in to fill that void. So young persons that will become parents or even parents now, this is a time to start to fill in that void and start providing teachable moments,
Yes.
instructions for your children. We need to see more positive people, because there are so much out there. For every 2 minute marriage, there's a 20-year-old that has stayed. For every 3 months old that crashed, there's a 30-year-old that has stayed, and they've raised wonderful children that are doing well. The guys now.
Okay.
Let's come back to guys. Today's guys, what are they looking for? In your opinion, you may not know. What today's guys, you may not know. What are today's guys? Because the thing, like, why we're doing is that we talked of that pressure. So the guy is well doing. They say he becomes eligible. So he has made the money. He's comfortable. He's a lot, and he's slow in making that move. And people start wondering what's wrong.
Mm.
What's wrong? What's wrong? Guy, geez, my son, what's wrong? So, is there something you think that the guy is looking out for? Apart from now, we've ruled out the making the money part. Now he has made the money. Is there something he's looking out for now that he's not seeing? That's why he's slow.
Yeah, well, this question has multiple angles, because people differ
Yeah.
in terms of their aspirations, their needs, their preferences. But I would say that the 21st century guy um, has a mix. There's this traditional and modern qualities that it's like an intermarriage that he's looking towards, or he aspires to
That's right
see
to
in
see.
his choice of spouse, of a life partner. So you want I will say, let me speak for myself.
Yeah.
Let me say, you know, say I'm speaking on your behalf. I'm speaking for myself. So you can see, for instance, there's this a man wants to see a spouse, a future wife, a future partner that has the ability to understand the times.
Yeah.
He needs somebody who has some level of empathy, that can be able to discern when this is the direction we should take. Okay, let me follow this direction. Oh, this is what I think we should do. Somebody who is able to come out of the moment and be able to think. There's no man that likes a dummy. He wants somebody that is able to use the brain to think. So that's the one criteria that I see a lot of modern men, look after, in terms of their choice of their partners. Another very important quality, they are looking for women who have a shared vision with them. A lot of women do not have that ability to think beyond the immediate. I want to get married. I want a marriage now.
Now,
After that marriage,
what next?
what exactly will we be doing the rest of our lives?
Nice.
So there have to be that synergy in terms of shared value, shared goals. This is what we want to achieve. What ambition are we pursuing together? In fact, individually, independence is even
Yeah.
one. If you say, I need an independent
Independent
woman,
woman.
you hear people say, I'm an independent woman. The reason is because, while some persons would want to probably misinterpret that statement, what independence means today is that my entire existence as a woman is not tied to your ability as a man to provide. As a man, I do not want to have a woman who cannot make any move until I'm able to give you 20 naira or 5 naira, not the rest. So, lot of men like people who, even if they are not billionaires, they are okay. There are certain things that can be handled if they are not physically available to handle, to step into that responsibility. And so I see that as one key qualities that modern men are looking forward today. We do not really want you to be the one that's responsible for the bills, but we want to know that you are okay, that there are certain things that you'll be able to handle, even if we can confidently handle those things. So it's one of those criteria that a lot of young men today look forward. Then there are some men who also love women who are go-getters, women who want to build their own ambition as well, so that they can equally support. So it's more of rubbing of the mind. I am building something in this particular industry or this particular space. You are also building something in this area, and then we can share ideas, we can motivate each other to build something meaningful. While we still come to the home front and see how we can support each other in terms of chores, in terms of child upbringing, we can also come to that place. So you have a career or a business or something which are pursuing that I can also pour my values or my support
Support
into.
into.
So we also see that as one criterion that our men today look at. There are plenty of other things, but I think I will just stop here for now.
Okay, so now you talked about the independence needing is it not a problem for certain guys when the lady seem not to be dependent on them? When she can hold her own, she can, is it not a problem for certain guys?
So
Like this one, I cannot control this one. This one will not be respectful. A guy is not big on respect.
Yes.
This one not be respectful because she makes her own money. Because
So for me, first of all, I think that that subject of respect, it should not be tied to ability to provide.
okay,
I mean, there's no even, well, it is done in the society. Generally, the society respects people who have more financial resource. But I mean, there's no standard anyway. There's no way it is printed that you should be respected based on the value you can provide financially. And it's not something that should be taken into marriage. For men who are big on respect, I will even want to ask why you were dating that person. Didn't you see all of those things? Because I would say a man is insecure if he feels that his ability to have more money is what will make his spouse
spouse
or wife respect him.
or submit.
That should never be the subject of conversation. Respect is there, whether you have more money or not. I mean, there are a lot of examples of people who the wife earns more than the husband, but then respect is not a thing because respect is not tied to financial to money. Respect is something that
It's a
it's a
value.
value
Use
system
them.
that you build consciously.
Mm.
That I respect somebody. In fact, even me, there's something that I usually tell people. I say one of the ways that you can actually start to build this ability or this value system of respect is greet any person, regardless of who they are.
Yeah.
So if you are using a public transport, greet the conductor, greet the driver, greet the gate man. Once you keep on doing these things, unconsciously you are building a culture of respect that you do not need to be a big person before you show respect to the person. Not to talk of somebody that you want to build something for a long time with. You should be able to respect, and this thing goes both ways. So the man should also respect the woman, and it is also reciprocated. So that is how I feel it, and it should not be a thing of who has more money than the other.
Okay, so guys, these days, are they big on looks?
Yes. So see, let's
They are big on. They are big on looks.
no,
They are big on looks.
we have to be very honest with this one.
Uh-huh.
Very honest. While they say beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, you do not have to be. Let's be real. Let's be real. Me, I will not deceive any person on this. A lot of people actually look out for physical attraction first.
Today's guys.
Yes, today's guys. I wanted to say something, but let me not say it. Physical attraction, no matter how we want to try to downplay, on that subject, is actually important, and that's why, as a lady, we are not saying that you should go and do BBL or that one is you and a particular taste that you are looking for, and whatever you get as a result of that is up to you. But I believe that most men who want to even get married and settle down, is those things that you are going to say, is this one that is that not what they want to? As long as a man is able to see a woman first, is attracted to her first physically, and is able to get attracted to her personality, I think for him, he has given that pass mark. So you do not need to be everly, you must not be the Agbani Darego or the slim and beauty or the big and bold. You don't look okay, look decent, look clean, look presentable. Every man and every woman as well also have the people that are attractive to them. It can be physical first, and then it now moves on to the personality. Or for some persons, it can be the personality. They might be seeing the person or hearing the person before they even meet the person and say, "Oh, I love your personality," and can go with this after. But let's not be. Let's not.
Okay. So yeah. So the whole outlook, hair, hair, packaging, dressing,
yes. So on that particular
the way
issue,
they appear.
I think for me, I believe that everything should be done in modesty. There's no need for me to want to outperform or outshow something that is not real. I don't know if I can say this in here, but that okay. Sometimes some of us usually watch all of these skits and all the rest where maybe a guy is doing. There's one particular guy that does one. He calls it cucumber prank. He puts a cucumber into his shorts and then he goes to talk with ladies, and then he's looking at the one that will want to. Based on what they are seeing,
Yeah.
want to have conversations with them. That's being deceptive.
Yeah.
And the same way I see ladies who, in order to attract the opposite gender, would want to add so much
Or
of superficial
they,
makeup and this and this. It's okay to be good and beautiful, but when the intent is that I want to be this beautiful
it
to attract
becomes
this
the
person,
tool. It becomes a tool for attraction, not because of who you are.
exactly. And then once you make that person attracted to what he sees, and that attraction is no longer there anymore, then what happens? So you begin to say he used you. No, you presented something to be used. So that's the dynamics I see in it.
Would you say so? The pressure to look that way is not from today's guys. It's just the tool of us.
It's a social construct,
It's a
because if you look at it, there was one documentary that I watched some time back where they were trying to portray how the media has created this perception that what is the standard of beauty is a slim, light-skinned lady, and that's why you see on the packaging of bar soaps or body lotions, it's usually a light-skinned lady. If you even watch the advertorials, you see a particular shape, and it makes that a standard of beauty.
Yeah.
That should not be your focus as a lady. Don't even be influenced by social media and all of the
But
rest.
social media
You know,
these days we are
is.
big on social media.
It is, but I mean, you can attract whoever you want to attract. That is the reality.
Yeah.
And the picture you paint is the kind of person
You will bring
you will bring. So if you are somebody who is big on,
exposure.
God bless you, exposure, you want to expose your everything and all the rest, you attract people who just want sex, or they might not just want sex first. Sex is number one, then another thing can follow. So you begin to see that you attract more of those people who want to, in quotes, spoil you just so they can have sex, and then any other thing that comes with it. But then when you package yourself as somebody who is not, in quotes, trying to attract somebody to the physical appearance, you begin to see that whoever is coming to you is not looking at that part, but other things as a yardstick to want to, have or build a relationship with you. So in all things, look modest. There's no need to want to overdo it to say, let me be this, let me do all of this so I can attract a man. It's not really, you can use all those beauty to attract a man, but can it keep the man?
Ladies that are intellectual that can hold a conversation across multiple sectors, not the thank God or the you what's a guy is big on ladies that they can have conversation with on a myriad of topic. And
Okay, yes. So this still boils down to individuality. For me, I like intelligence ladies. In fact, the more intelligent you are, the more I'm attracted to you. I love to have conversations with people who can, they can bring equal energy in terms of the level of response. I love it so much. So for me, it is something that I hold dearly. I see it as a value system for me. I'm attracted to excellence. I'm attracted to intelligence people. But I can't say that for every other guy. Every other person, every individual has what is, in quotes, a priority for them. For some people, to be honest, they want somebody that can be under them, that they can control. They can say, go here, go here, come. They want some people want people who I wanted to say a particular tribe, but so that this does not come an issue. There are some people who there's what they call trophy wife.
Yeah.
They want to marry the best looking lady so that it can be a bragging right for them. You know, see my wife,
Wife.
on our own rich. So that is the reason why they marry that particular kind of person. For some persons like me, we love intelligent, very intelligent people, and for some, they really do not care if whether it's intelligent or not, as long as you have sense. They are okay with it, and so again, there are different interests based on the man in question.
So, in bringing our conversation home, what should young men have in themselves? Because we've talked about the raising of, we've talked about the chasing of wealth, we've talked about the preparation. What values? Because they should be able to see what they want, but they should have that value. So, what value? Because I would say we'll talk about what men, young guys these days are looking at, what they should be looking for. But for me, what you should be looking for should be something that you have embodied.
Yes, yes.
If there's something you should embody, because if you have not embodied it, why are you looking out for it outside? It's just, so what should young men these days embody beyond wealth acquisition? What should they embody? Values in what should they embody?
Okay, so one of the things I would say is this now, particularly for our young people, it is important for everybody to first find themselves, because you can't be a nobody and then go into a relationship where somebody else should not define your individuality, you define your life. So you need to find yourself first. In finding yourself, is at that point when you know the direction you want your life to gravitate towards. So in fact, there's this natural way that God even tries to align destinies together. If you are somebody who have been able, through the help of God, to find your path, find your purpose, as they say, you will naturally be attracting people who equally are on that journey with you. And so it's now meeting of the minds. So you have your purpose, defined. This is what I want to achieve out of life. In building towards that purpose, of course, there have to be a lot of value system that you need to embody. For me, excellence is one key value system, very huge one. So in everything that you want to do as an individual, excellence should be like one of the things that you hold dearly to you. There's trust, integrity, because you should be somebody that if somebody says this man did something, your spouse should be able to confidently say, no, that's not true. I know my husband. I can vouch for his integrity. So the same way for the woman too. She wants to be somebody who has built integrity. Of course, character-wise, you have to build your character. While there are no perfect human being, everybody has his strengths and weaknesses. In some cases, you might meet up with somebody that your weakness can be the person's strength. And in meeting, you now see you are robbing each other. So the strength is not necessarily overshadowing the weakness, but you are not drawing inspiration from this person's strength to build your own.
To build that
So your weakness now
becomes
becomes
smaller.
exactly. So family being family oriented is also one thing, because the purpose of marriage is not just to say I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. You will build and raise family. You raise the next generation. So there is a duty that is going to be ascribed to that union that you need to be able to deliberately build. So getting married, what are those things you want to pass on to the next generation that you are going to be building? So there has to be that intentionality So if you want your children to be godly children, it means that you on your own, you have to wear all of the embodiment of being a
A
godly
godly
person.
person.
You want this person to be spiritual. Are you a spiritual person? You want this person to be sound academically. What effort have you put in also showing that you can, be sound
Yeah.
academically? So all of those things that you want the next generation to embody, you should also subject yourself to training so that you're able to pass on something meaningful. So I think these are some of the things that young people should begin to look at as they approach the institution of marriage. It is not just about the love or the attraction. There's a huge responsibility, and you need to build capacity to be able to deliver on that aspect.
So and that's key. It's a huge responsibility, marriage and all of the other things that go with it. It's a huge and like we've mentioned, it's critical for nation building and all of these things. Quickly, because it's critical for nation building, it's a huge responsibility. What role does the dating thing play?
Okay, so I don't know if it's a standard. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a standard anyway. But for me, I think that that's space. Some people do not even call it dating. They call it courtship. For some person, they say there's a dating phase, there's a courtship phase before it leads to marriage. But for me, whether it's dating or courtship, I believe that that period should be that time where you are comparing your value systems. There's those checklists to seeing this is the direction I want to go. Does this person also, is this person in line with this direction? If the person is not in line, if the person has some characteristics, is this something that can be built on? So you need to be able to see all of those things before you say, okay, auntie or oga, this is the place I'm going to in my life. I see that you embody some of these things, and I want somebody like you to do this life thing with me. Yes or no? So at that point in time is
I know most times you don't have this conversation. So when you now come and you now do with the whole influence with social media, when you now asking this question, you now be when you now have committee of friends, say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, say
if
yes.
you're among those people that do that thing, stop, please. You don't know what the people have been discussing in their backyard. You are just coercing them to say yes. You don't know whether the person's values, their values do not align. They are just be managing themselves, and you are putting camera in their face to say yes. So me, I believe that these conversations are not they are not hard conversations.
Yeah.
There are conversations that you should be having. And in fact, talking about these engagements, sometimes I get surprised when I see these public engagements. And sorry, ladies, I'm sorry. And the lady is surprised. My mind, I'm like, wait, oh, you were playing since. You did not know. It never crossed your mind that this person want to do life with you. I get
So
surprised.
what were they doing?
So when you were dating, is it just buying shawarma and doing this thing we're doing? Was there no plan in terms of, because me, I feel that in dating, you see, I don't know. Let me even. I think it's the right time for me to say this thing. I see dating as a phase where I can impact on somebody else. I don't see it as a duty that I'm being owed for.
Yeah.
That I'm doing this thing because I want us to get married. So any investments I'm making to this person, it is something that will make you a better person, whether I'm there or not. And so that's my approach towards dating. So if I get into a relationship or we start from day one, I'm thinking of how I can make you a better person. I'm not trying to change your life, but what do you have? How can I make it better? That is what I think about. So in the long run, you are seeing that this particular person has my best interest at heart, right? Is contributing to my goals, my visions, my ambitions. oh, he has shared values with me, he's family oriented or she's family oriented. So at that point in time, I mean, if all of this is aligns, then I will have that conversation, or you should have that conversation. See, oh, this way we are going to, I believe that our, destiny is aligned. Of course, if you are a believer, you probably would have prayed about it. Also, I've gotten counsel from people you respect, either your pastors, your parents. That's why it's even introduce your person to your parents, so that it's not something that you are just guessing. You have people who can guide you, and you won't have your own checklist. And this checklist should be realistic. So it does not make sense for you to say, there's a story that I have, but maybe I will say it later on. It is not realistic to say the reason why you are getting into a particular relationship is because it is your escape from poverty.
Okay.
It is a very wrong thing to do. A very wrong thing. So all of the things that your parents cannot do, you expect that automatically a man that probably had the same educational qualification as you do, had the same opportunities to build
Yeah.
your
Capacity.
capacity on a personal
Personal
level, then you say, no, you should be responsible for my entire existence. And
When you did not build any capacity, you just stayed and just waiting to be taken care of.
I mean, it is crazy. So even if you're a man too, and that is the only thing that you know how to do, your own work is to
Look
be
for
rolling around, doing nothing, and going to date women that you think you can live off. That's a very wrong thing to do. A very wrong thing to do. So I believe that period of dating should be that time where you're able to assess your value systems and be able to contribute meaningfully to each other, so that you already know, okay, this is where I'm going to. So from day one, think investing without getting anything back in return.
and so that not getting anything in return would be that you must not marry the person.
Of course, it's not necessary. It's not necessary, because I think one of the challenges that this thing poses is that some persons can be in quote dating for a very long time, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. One of them is playing the other person, because that person knows this person, all of these things, I don't think I can do life with this person, but the person still keeps them inside.
Yeah.
So that's where the challenge usually to come. If you know that maybe if after a period of time we know that, oh, based on this thing, so for some persons it could even be in terms of family.
Yeah.
Family, yes, that's a very strong
It's very
one,
strong one.
because you need to even know the family you are going into.
Yeah.
Because you and the lady, you might be good, but when it comes to
So their
family, there's
family.
an issue. So you need to be able to understand all of this. So if we know that, okay, I know based on X, Y, Z that this will be a barrier for us to proceed to getting married and building life together, let us discuss it now and pass each other by.
And we must not be enemies.
Exactly.
We must not be enemies.
Like me, you say no. Well, I don't have any enemy.
You don't know.
No. if I'm your enemy, then you must have a problem. But so I believe that this is how it should be.
Yeah. And now it just seems like we gloss it over, but something very fundamental you said about family, that checking of the family, because you could be you've checked all the boxes between the two of you, but the family you're getting into, the background of the family, it plays a huge role. And those are the conversations. It also baffles me where people get to the point of, so we're all ready and we want to get to the point where they are maybe before, if they are Christians, they are before they are counselors, and they now ask them genotype. They don't know. They don't know blood group. They don't know all of these things. It's from that point they now find out that either their genotype by science should not be, it's not compatible. They now start trying to find a way around it. What conversation have you been having since? You should be the same thing about people wanting to further their education, people who aspire. What conversations, like you said, is it all about buy, eat, watch movie? Because even for me, some movies you go to watch can even be triggers for conversations. Some movies can be triggers for conversations. Some movies can be. So if you go and you watch, what conversations do you get after the movie? So I believe there are a lot of things that should drive conversation around the dating thing, that helps the guy know what should I be looking for.
Or the
lady, what should I be looking out for? So this is what today's guy is like. So for me, as a today's lady, what should I also be looking out for so that we can meet?
Yes.
We can meet, because it now looks like there are a lot of people that are of marriageable age but not getting there. And the excuses most of them give, or the tales they give, are all wrong. And there's some because that's failed because of a lot of experimentation, which is where that place of education, that place of mentoring, that place of thought. Now, if older people will give themselves to teach, the younger ones should be ready to learn.
True, very true. I mean, there's also another interesting, topic that's even in concerning, dating and marriage. So the thing is, first of all, the kind of person that you want, where is the person? How do you find that person? No, there are a lot of people who, not trying to encourage people to, jump into the field and it's an open spot, or it's an ocean. You just throw your hook everywhere. The kind of, based on your value system and the direction you want to go to,
where are they?
You cannot say you are looking for somebody who is aspiring to be, say, maybe the next Mark Zuckerberg. And you are going to club to look for the person. It's not there you see that kind of person.
He's unwinding.
It's not there you see the person. I mean, if I want to, for instance, there was a conversation that we had sometime with my friends. And so if a particular guy got married to a lady, I think I have forgotten the particular thing she does, but he gets benefits from her crafts. A lot of benefits. So jokingly, one of the guys in my face, I said, let's say I go to find this kind of woman, no. So that also they get this kind of benefits. So, but where do you find these people? So even you as a person looking for a life partner, you have to be deliberate. Where do you see or find these people? What kind of garden should you be in? You cannot be in your house from morning till night and be on
social media,
TikTok or Instagram, and you're looking for somebody. Go out, go to conferences, go to events. You might not really see them like that in church too, but go to churches. Events that has things that aligns with your goals, your values. You'll be able to see people of like minds, and you can build something from there. So these things does not happen by magic. Yes, there are some persons who have found people online that they started having conversations and all the rest. But if you want to be more deliberate about the person that you want, put yourself in those places that exposes you to those kind of people. And I think that should be like a starting point.
Wow, it's been I don't know if we want to continue. It will just keep going and all, but it's been an absolute pleasure having you on VitalSpace.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's been thank you for all the value you've brought. Thank you for all your share. And I know that everybody listening would have picked one, whether they are guys or ladies, older generation would have picked something and we're going to pick something to apply to their life and see the kind of results you have. So thank you once again for coming.
Thank you very
And
much.
so this is me saying thank you for being here with us and hope to see you another time. Bye.